Well, I must first admit that I have a little bit of a soft spot and a passion for planting trees. And I actually even started a non-for-profit organization to raise money for planting trees. And that venture didn't go particularly well. It didn't raise tons of money. But what happened some years ago that I think really sparked this interest in planting trees was from an LSD experience. And to me, it was a really moving experience because me and my friend were out in nature and I think it was 300 micrograms of LSD. And I found a really tall, thick, old tree with a really big root system. And the root actually made a nice little seat. And I started meditating, but to my surprise, I entered this sort of altered state of consciousness, as is normal on a psychedelic. But I really did not expect anything like this, and I hadn't experienced anything like this before or since, really. But it felt like I was connecting to the Gaia energy, and in particular the forests of the entire world were speaking to me in a way that was almost scolding me or scolding humanity for all the deforestation and recklessness that we've been performing on the earth. You know, we've been chopping down rainforests now for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And ultimately, it's not good for the planet. It doesn't make the planet more diverse. In fact, it obviously reduces biodiversity by a lot. So there's the problem there is, of course, that we're deforesting. That's the actual physical problem. But the deeper problem is the consciousness of the human being, that we are more interested in our own selfishness rather than the ecology and the harmony of the earth as a whole. Now, I'm actually very optimistic for the future, and I see the consciousness of human beings very much shifting to become more and more green, you could say, and we want to live in harmony with nature. We want to live in a harmony that blesses us, because really trees is on a very literal level, we breathe out CO2 and then they take that up and then they exhale oxygen. So they are the other half of our lungs. It massively benefits us to have a healthy ecology, and it makes life way more pleasant to feel like we are part of nature. Now, there's a lot of non-for-profits out there that want to plant trees somewhere out there and to reforest a lot of land. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. But there is another aspect to it, which is we can all plant trees in suburbia or wherever we live if there is the opportunity. And that is what I'm proposing today. That for your next birthday or any birthday when you feel like doing so, to plant the amount of trees as the age you are turning. So for me, very recently, that was 28, and I've been wanting to do this for a little while, not particularly for my birthday, but there is a little bit of stretch of empty sand near my home. It is next to the footpath, and this piece of empty sand is fine, but I thought it would look much better if we plant some frangipani or frangipani trees there. For those of you who don't know, I'll put some pictures up now. They have very beautiful flowers and they smell fantastic too. I also picked them because they are quite a hardy tree, and also they are very easy to grow by simply cutting off one of the branches and then sticking that branch in the soil. I'll leave a link below on how exactly to do that. That's not what this video is about. But this is a very wonderful, easy way to get 28 branches and then proliferate 28 trees. And just as a little point of interest, a passerby told me that frangipani leaves, which look like this, which are more rounded, this indicates that they are an evergreen tree. So if this at all resonates with you, hopefully it seems fun to you, and you can imagine transforming a piece of empty land into a lush space of trees, even though it might take 10 or 20 years. You can perhaps imagine your children walking past there one day, enjoying the smell of some fresh flowers. You know, you can have fun with the idea of the future, what that holds. But really the deeper thing here is this consciousness that I mentioned. That we, as a consciousness, as a human being, care about and take action to promote the ecology, biodiversity, health, and tree system of the world. And I personally think that as we're moving on in technology, in civilization, that we can reach a state where nature is very much amongst us, where it's not cities over here and forests over there. The two can blend together in a very large way, although we should, of course, give some national park space where the trees can just flourish totally in the way that they would have back before humans even existed at all. So just to finish this topic, if this is something that you at all want to do, if it's something that at all interests you, hopefully it sounds like fun, then there are a little bit of logistics for you to take care of. For instance, you will need to figure out what trees are suitable for your local area, where to plant them, will they get enough water, where can you acquire those trees or those saplings, and you could even grow them from seeds if you like. Avocado trees is also something I would really like to plant, but here in Australia, that tree will not survive on its own because the summers here are simply too dry and harsh. But that's what I'll end this video on. If it sounds exciting to you, I would absolutely love to hear your story. How old are you turning and how many trees did you plant? Perhaps you could even share a photo with the rest of us of the transformation that you created. And in 10 years, 20 years, it would be nice to have a little before and after of an empty piece of land transformed into a lush area where there are flowers, little birds chirping, and just the sounds of nature abide.